My name is Alan Lester Halcomb from Gordon, Kentucky. My mother went through just about everything that a human could go through in her lifetime. She lived to be 81 years old, and when she died, she weighed about 50 pounds at the most. She lost her husband. She lost one kid.
She had a miscarriage.
Had a miscarriage. Had to live in an old log house for 7 years.
Well, as a young girl, she had a very hard life.
Very hard. Her mom and dad died.
She was
Her 9 brothers and sisters. One family would just take. All these families already had a house full of kids, but they helped out by taking one. And one family took my mother in. She was there for a while. And then my dad's dad, my grandpa, when Mom was 13 years old, gave her the job of coming and living with them. And all she had to do was work to pay for her clothes and food and everything.
Yeah. She was their servant.
Yeah.
Oh.
And with all the things that woman had to go through, is mind-boggling. With today's women, I don't think there'd be very many that could do what she done and the life she had to live. It was nothing but work, work, and more work. And she told me one day that Lester says, me and your dad got married. I got up the next morning and put my work shoes on. And I never did get to take them off. So, that's a good story. Let's see. It was, and honestly, all that I can remember, I was the one kid that caused her the most heartaches, most trouble and aggravation. That woman had to beat me like a red-headed stepchild. And it was my vivid imagination that got me all these whippings. I would do this, I'd do that. I wouldn't have asked if I'd have been real smart. I would have asked Mom if it would have been okay to do this or that, and would have saved me a lot of whooping. Now there's a big difference in a whooping and a whipping. So.
Okay, so what's the difference? People are gonna ask.
The difference in a whipping and a whooping, they use 3 switches at one time, and they beat you till there's only about 1.5 feet of them left, starting out at about 4 feet long. They beat you till there's nothing but just something to hold on to. So, here's another funny thing about all of my whippings. I'd do something, and Mom would catch me, that's the wrong thing. She'd say, I owe you whipping. I owe you one. I don't have time to whip you right now, but I will get you. And most of the time the second whipping came up, I got 2 whippings in one, and that's what made a whooping. A double dose. But finally, I guess my hide got so tough it didn't bother me much anymore. And so, but I didn't get not one whipping that I did not deserve. And My other brothers and sisters, they just stand back and watch me get a good beating. So, but they were all a little smarter than me. They wasn't doing all this dumb stuff. But I was just doing things for personal pleasure, I guess. Things I wanted to do. But
Imagine if she would have caught you doing some of the stuff that she didn't catch you doing.
yeah, I got away with probably 50%. And did a lot of dumb stuff. Oh, there's one. Now this is going to go around the world. There's one story I want to tell you about one of my older brothers. It was late in the afternoon, and he said, "Lester, let's go suck an egg." I'd never heard tell of anybody sucking an egg. So he grabbed a salt shake and pepper, and away to the barn we went. Found him an egg, gave me an egg, and you take the big end of the egg and peck a shell and remove the shell from the big end. Then you put your salt and pepper on it, and then hold it up to your mouth and just suck all that right out in one big bite. Down the neck it goes. That's what you call sucking an egg. Well, my brother was always a little faster doing things than me. He put that egg up there and somehow the shell broke. It went all over his face. He took off. He ran about 20 steps down on his knees. It made him sick in his stomach. He was throwing up like an old hound dog. Yeah, I was still getting the salt and pepper on. He saw me put mine up. I just sucked it all in one big bite and threw the shell down. That made him sick again. Watching me do it. He was sick all over again. He was down home rolling on the ground. He never did ask me to go suck an egg with him again.
Who was that?
Wallace.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
How old were you guys?
I would have been maybe 11 years old.
Yeah.
And
Lord.
he was 5 years older than me. And him and Aaron Wallace were just like a set of twins. Well, one of them done, they both done it. Well, I was too young to hang out with them, all this kind of stuff. But we found ways to entertain ourselves.
Yeah. What was it like whenever the first one left? Whenever the Harry and Wallace, when the first one left, what was it like for the other one?
Well, her and Wallace, Eva and me, Harry had to go to the army, and then Wallace, he went to college, and then after Harry got out of the army, he went to college. And I never did see them anymore.
Yeah. So,
Very little.
Yeah. So Harry left for the army with the draft. How soon did Wallace leave? After that, how soon did Wallace leave?
A couple of years.
Yeah. That was probably hard on him to lose his brother.
Oh, here's one you gotta get. You gotta hear this. Dana, you gotta hear it,
He
buddy.
wants you to listen. This is a good one. Okay.
Anyways, from where we lived in our second house, the big house, we had to go a half a mile back up a holler to grow corn and beans and this guy do the farming half a mile away. Well, whoever was farming, say if they were in there plowing, hoeing corn, they'd be one or two, they'd have to take those workers their dinner. And one day, my sister Eva, she was 3 years older than me, took Wallace his dinner. And when she got up pretty close to where he was working, Eva knew what field he'd be in, and Wallace was plowing and jaybird naked, not one rag of clothes on his body. He was up there working, jaybird naked. Eva hollered at him, told him to put some clothes on.
Was he hot and sweaty?
No, he's getting cool.
Well, that's how.
That's the first time I've told that story.
Oh my gosh, it is. Lord help us.
My name is Alan Lester Halcomb from Gordon, Kentucky.